What up, world? What up, world? What up, world? What up, world? It's your main man, I am DJ Double Dose, man. Coming up with another episode of Double Dose of Reality Sports, man. We are back. We are back in the building, man. Listen, I hope you sat still this past Saturday because I'm going to tell you something, man. We got ourselves a banger. A banger. Georgia and Tennessee did not disappoint. Now, I know some of my traditional SEC people, you might not have liked the shootout nature that it was. However, the game was entertaining as hell. So, before we get into all of that, let's understand this. That was Gunnar Stockton's first true road test in a hostile environment. I think his name is Aguilar, whatever Aguero, whatever Tennessee's quarterback name is. He was in a situation that he'd never been in before, facing Georgia. And man, oh man, did they both deliver. I know if you're a fan of either team, you probably have your thoughts, probably have your opinions, and you may or may not like the way that it went. But both quarterbacks threw for over 300 yards, had 6 touchdowns combined between the two. I mean, it was like you watching the game, Tennessee hops out. Boom. Tennessee hops out. And you look at it and you say to yourself, okay, they finally gonna do it. And then, of course, in true Georgia Tennessee fashion, Georgia fights. They stay in the fight. They stay in the fight. They stay in the fight. They stay in the fight until before you know it, now it's halftime. And when you look at the score at halftime, it's what? 21-17. Tennessee put up all them points in the first quarter. Bagel. Second quarter. What does Georgia do in the third? Stay in the fight. Stay in the fight. Stay in the damn fight. And bless the kid's heart, the kicker. You know, we always talk about these games that come down to these field goal kickers, man. We've been saying this for years on this show, our previous show, Facebook, social media, wherever you want to see it. At the end of the day, that was one of the mistakes that Hypo made. They had a couple, but that was definitely one. You didn't go, you started playing timid, you started playing scared, and you got to the point where you tried to play for a field goal to win the game. And you got so nervous in the midst of doing this, you got a damn false start. Once you got the false start, I think we all knew at that point, this boy probably finna miss this kick. And sure enough, he lines up and he misses it. And at that point, Georgia, they didn't smile. They just knew that if this game goes into overtime, well, it was going into overtime at that point. We got this. And what did Georgia do? Tennessee gave the boy a field goal pretty much from the same spot. He makes it. Cool. Georgia just like, we finna run the ball down your throat. Boom, boom. Georgia pulls out the win. Now, you can take that game and look at it from two perspectives. You can look at it from the Georgia side and say, look, however you want to do it, we can do it. However you want to do it, we can do it. You want to be in the shootout, we can do that. You want our defense to come through in the clutch, they can do that. However you want to do it, we can do it. And they persevered and they won the game. If you are a Tennessee fan, if you're thinking positively and not negative, positive, not negative. If you are thinking positive and not negative, buddy show heart. how many defenses are he gonna face that look like Georgia the rest of the year? I know y'all want the whatever. How many defenses is he and those receivers going to face the rest of the year that has the body type, coaching prowess, the defense of Georgia? How many teams look like that on the rest of your schedule? Yeah, Alabama. Guess what? Y'all don't look like Georgia on defense. Y'all don't look like Georgia on defense. And the one thing I got from that game is that Tennessee Alabama game got a whole lot more interesting. That's just my thoughts. We'll deal with that when it comes. Just saying. So if you are Tennessee, you are to be encouraged. In a moment like that, you came within a field goal of winning the game. Now I know you've lost it in what at this point is 9, 10 years in a row. So I know you don't want to hear the glass is half full. I get it. Hey man, I get it. I probably won't want to hear the glass. I got tired of hearing that with Clemson. They kept saying, "Oh man, bet you y'all." I got tired of hearing it too. So you probably don't want to hear the glass is half full, but you still got the rest of your season in front of you. And with that offense, just need a little bit more D though. Just a little bit more D. But with that offense, a little bit more D, Tennessee might sneak up on a couple of people and handle their business, man. Now, hey, Dabo. Hey, Clemson Tigers. Hey, Clemson. You know, last year when we lost in Dublin to Georgia Tech by a field goal, it was a lot said. It was a lot said. But the one thing that nobody cannot say is Brent Key coach his ass off. That's yet another victory when he was the underdog and ain't have no business pulling off the victory. But yet, here we are again with Georgia Tech with another win against another ranked opponent that they ain't got no damn business winning. Shout out to the Rambling Wreck of Georgia Tech, Clemson, Dabo, Klubnik, Riley. Where in the hell do you go from here? Let me hear it because I would like to know. I'm going to take a sip before we get into this because I want to know from the Clemson side of things where you go from here. You know, everybody has their dynasty. Well, not everybody, because some people don't get experience. But there comes a point where the run is over. The writing been on the wall for Clemson for a little while now. So this isn't new. The last few years, they've lost multiple games in the season. And Dabo does things the way that Dabo wants to do them. It's his prerogative. He can do it how he sees fit. But Dabo was one of the main people that was stubborn about the transfer portal. He really didn't embrace NIL, stubborn about the transfer portal. There were Clemson fans who thought that this was going to last forever. And a lot of us tried to tell them, right now, you're the it school because at that time, you had beaten Alabama, you had gave Alabama hell, and because of that, you had a lot of kids that started to want to come to your program because, hey, the ACC was down, Florida State, down, Miami, who knows, and you were able to rise. Your rise came at the fall of Florida anyway. But nobody really wanted to come to Clemson. Nobody really wanted to come there. It was because they saw a way to win with a semi easier road than being in the SEC. So you got some athletes in there. I know some Clemson fans are going to be mad at this take. I don't care. It's a flat out truth. My truth. Might not be your truth, but it's my truth. I don't care. But you were able to capture a moment, and it was working for a little while. But now that Venables is gone, and you know what you haven't had, because what you had in your run, you want to know the one thing that you had in your run that you don't got no more, that you've missed on now twice, which is what puts you in this shit? Ask me, because I tell you, this is what it looks like when you don't have generational quarterback after generational quarterback. You got luck. You recruited well. You had Todd. The unforgotten man that started all of this was Taj Boyd. You had Taj Boyd. You enhanced him with Deshaun Watson. You enhanced him with Trevor Lawrence. And you signed a 5-star. And DJU. You signed a 5-star in DJU, and it's been downhill ever since. DJU did not live up to the expectations. Cade Klubnik clearly is not going to live up to the expectations. And when you have that situation where you go from 3 amazing quarterbacks, although Taj didn't win a national title, he set the foundation for what Deshaun and what Trevor Lawrence became. You had almost a decade plus of great quarterback play between Taj, Deshaun, and Trevor. This is what the rest of the world looks like when you don't have a generational quarterback. Now you went out and tried to get you to DJU, and this is what happened. It don't take but 2. It doesn't take but 2 not to pan out for you to end up in the situation that you're in right now. Now, Clemson, you still got games left. You're 1-2 right now. Sucks. You're not out of it. The LSU loss doesn't hurt you. The Georgia Tech loss, it's a knock, but you don't play Miami. You got FSU. We'll see what you do with the rest of your schedule. The ACC will always ACC. So I'm sure that a lot of you fans do not think that this will get turned around. And the Georgia Tech loss is not going to be the only loss that happens on said schedule. However, the way that Florida State is playing right now, that should be a rank. Well, we should be ranked, possibly, by the time we meet in Death Valley. That could be a ranked win for you. Who knows? But as far as everything with Dabo, no, Dabo is not on the high seat. No, Dabo is not going to get fired. He's done too much for that program since he's been there. They will definitely ask Dabo to walk away before they fire Dabo Sweeney. They've tried to go out. And I think that the other thing that we're starting to see when we wrap this up, Venables was way more important than a lot of people thought. Now, granted, towards the end there with Venables, I mean, the defense has and still has athletes. It's just not all meshing. And when you lose at LSU, you struggle with Troy. This is how you turn around and you get on the road in Atlanta and you take a loss to Georgia Tech. Just saying. The other big game that happened Saturday, as we recap this past week, because why not? This deserves us to share the screen. It deserves. Let me pull it up first. This deserves a screen share. You know, the other ones I talked without any visualization. This one deserves some visualization. Let me get it up. Where did you go? Where did you go? Oh, there you go. Right there. Oh, that's pulling up. Let's present the screen. I don't want to do this every week, man. I don't. I don't want to do this every week. But how? And it's crazy because Florida, you, sorry about that, y'all. That's what happens when you record sometimes. Florida, listen, you're wasting that defense. I never thought before I start with the laughter and the jokes, I want to give Florida's defense their flowers because that defense went into Death Valley with everything that LSU had going on, and they held them to 20 points. To 20 points. They held that defense held them to 20 points. And ass out to the wound, one touchdown. One touchdown. You held them to 20 points and one offensive touchdown. So LSU, y'all gonna get some of this too. I know Travis, I know Vern, I know it's a lot more. Y'all, I'm not gonna name all of y'all. There's a few more of you LSU fans. Jessica, Kyle. I can keep going. There's a lot of y'all. That offense didn't look amazing versus this Clemson team. That offense damn sure didn't look amazing versus Florida. But we're not going to talk about what your inadequate offense did or did not do. We're going to give Florida's defense a little credit because Florida's defense actually came to play. Because if your offense turns the ball over, in my LeBron James voice, not one, not two, not three, not four, not five times, and the defense only gives up one touchdown, hey man, that is when you've heard me say this throughout the years. That is when we go to the locker room, the defense is like, don't say shit to us, bro. We walked into this building with that quarterback, those wide receivers, and those running backs, and we held them to one offensive touchdown. And y'all ass couldn't get more than 10 lousy damn points. Don't say shit to me. If I'm the defense, I'm like, hey, man, don't say shit to us. Y'all just going on, man. Hey, y'all gonna do whatever y'all need to do, man. We finna get showered and changed, and we'll meet y'all afterwards, man. Ain't nothing else we need to say, bro. Because I don't think that if I had told you prior to this game that LSU was only gonna score one offensive touchdown, you would have came back and told me that LSU was gonna win that game. I guarantee you wouldn't have said that. I guarantee you wouldn't have said that. I know for a fact you would have not said that. I know you wouldn't have said it. There's no point of you even saying, man, no. There's no way if I had told you before that game, hey man, LSU only gonna score one offensive touchdown, but they still gonna win the game. You'd have been like, man, Ben, get the hell on somewhere. I know you would have said that. I know it. I 100% know you would have said that. We're gonna stop sharing the screen because you get the point. I 100% know that's what you would have said. But despite all of that, Billy, in the next segment, we're gonna talk about, can Arch be fixed? Can DJ be fixed? Is DJ healthy? We heard all offseason that he wasn't in the best health. Is he still got some nagging injuries that y'all is just not telling us? Because I'm trying to figure out how. How do you throw 5 interceptions? Number one, how you throw 5 picks and don't get benched? At what point are we going to try something different? Even if it's just for a drive or two. At what point? But even despite that, Billy, what's going on with your play calling? Is it your play calling? Is it you and your offensive coordinator not seeing eye to eye? Is Lagway just not? We literally just said this last week. Lagway, although he has all the talent in the world, 5-star kid, whole nine, he's not lived up to his billing. At some point, if you are that dude, you got to live up to your billing. All he did was follow that conversation I just had with y'all last week. All he did was follow that conversation up with what? A 5 interception performance. That ain't living up to the shit that I was talking about. That's going backwards. Backwards. The opposite damn way. And if you're a Florida fan, I don't know how you looking at this, knowing what the rest of your schedule is. I don't know. You got Miami this week. Carson Beck threw 2 picks in that game against South Florida this past Saturday. If your defense can play like that again, you have a chance. But if DJ Lagway does not get his shit together, if Billy Napier and that offensive staff do not coordinate a game plan, this in Miami is going to get ugly. Miami's defensive line are full of grown ass men, and I know this sounds crazy that I'm giving Miami some credit. Hell, I'm giving them anyway. They are going to eat. If y'all ain't figured out something in the next, what's the day? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. In the next, what? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. In the next 4 days. In the next 4 days. If y'all ain't figured out something, if y'all have not figured out something in the next 4 days, that shit in Miami, they are a front running team. We all know this. That got the potential of getting real ugly. And Billy, you got Texas right behind it, if I'm not mistaken. Them might be your last 2 games that you coach. Now, me personally, if I was the AD, I'd make you sit in it. I'd make you sit in it at least. I'm going to make you sit in it at least until November. There's no way I will fire Billy Napier before November. Nope. Nope. I'm not about to make. I'm not to make no interim staff go through the rest. Go through what that would be, because you're 1-2 now. You got Miami this week. If you lose, that'll be 1-4. No, that'd be 1-3. I'm sorry. That'd be 1-3. That'll be your 4th game. I'm not about to make no interim coach sit through 8 games of this mess that you created. I'd make you sit in it. That's just me. Now, we all know how fans and powers that be, they get a little rested. You just saw Virginia. You just saw UCLA fire Deshaun. You just saw Virginia Tech fire Pride. So, hey, we know, hell, Florida State, hey, we ain't got to talk about they fire with it. Coaches get fired now a whole lot quicker than they used to. But me personally, your ass going to sit in that until November. I'm not going to put that on no interim coach. I'm damn sure not going to put that on none of your sisters who ain't going to be here when we fight, because we getting rid of all of y'all ass. I wouldn't make none of them have to deal with this. You finna deal with this at least until November. So, Florida fans, I would love to say I care, but all I can do is laugh at it, because this shit is comical. It's comical, and I wish you luck. Before we get out of here, we'll touch on Notre Dame and Texas A&M. Listen, It was a phenomenal game. Notre Dame sitting there with 2 losses right now. I know it feel like it's the end of the world, but Notre Dame, y'all know what the rest of y'all schedule look like. Y'all will get it together. As long as you now, do I think you gonna run the table? That's a tall task. But I think y'all gonna come close to running the table, which would mean y'all to get back into the conversation, and then we'll go from there. Texas A&M side of things, look, it's real simple. Hey, Texas A&M got a nice, favorable schedule. If they don't mess up and lose to a couple people they ain't got no business losing to, Texas A&M very well could find themselves in Atlanta in the SEC title game. And this is more so. This is not about do I think that Texas A&M is the first or second best team in the SEC. No, I do not. But when you look at that schedule and what they got left, we can do it real quick. You got Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida, Arkansas, LSU, Missouri, South Carolina, Samford, and then Texas at the end of the year. Knowing how Florida has imploded, we'll see about Auburn. We'll see about LSU because clearly Texas A&M can score points. So we'll see about that. And then you got Texas. But you avoid Alabama. You avoid Georgia. So, and you got Texas at the very end of the year. That game may or may not even matter. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, because if you sitting there with one loss or maybe 2 losses, that loss don't even fucking matter. So Texas A&M has a very favorable schedule down the stretch. So we'll see what that comes out to. And I'm gonna close the show off with I get it. Can Arch be fixed? The true answer to that question is, man, I don't know. Like, man, I like the true answer to that question is, man, I do not know. I don't know. I I don't know if it's mental. I don't know if it's mechanics. I don't know. I mean, I got to come to the front and say, man, look, I thought that Arch was going to not necessarily live up to that hype because I knew that was going to be kind of hard to do. Like, I definitely didn't think he was going to win the Heisman. I didn't think that. I didn't think he was going to look like this. So I think Arch needs to go to that place, whatever that place is that brings him calm, that brings him peace. And I hate to say this, like, because that's kind of harsh, but he need to do some soul searching, man. And if it's something going on with him, they need to figure out if he's hurt or not. If he's not hurt and this is all mental, then they need to do whatever they need to do to get his mental right because their schedule doesn't get easier. It only gets harder. And they got some heavy games on their schedule. And from the way they run the game looks, a lot of that's going to fall on him. Now, they have an amazing defense. The defense is playing great. But we all know, kind of like what we were talking about with Florida earlier, you already know when you put all that pressure on the defense to continue to make plays, we all know how that goes. Eventually, they do get tired, and then eventually they do give up points. So we'll revisit the Arch conversation as the year goes on. This is a fluid situation. Their first test, I guess you could say, is let me see. Let me pull it up. Let's see when their first test before we get out of here. We'll close it out with this. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. So you look at their first test, they got one more tune-up. They clearly front loaded the hell out of this schedule. They got one more tune-up. They got Sam Houston. After that, they got Florida next, and then Oklahoma. So those 2 games, and that Florida game is in the swamp. So those 2 games is their first. That's going to be their test. So can the Sam Houston game be a get-right game? We'll see. But Texas, unfortunately, only goes as far as Arch goes. If Arch does not, like I said again, he don't got to live up to that hype of Heisman. We at this point, anybody who had them Arch betting tickets for the Heisman, you can go ahead and rip that shit up because that ain't happening. You just lost that money because that ain't happening. They only go as far as he goes. So a lot of season left. Sark is a mastermind on offense. So we'll see. That was the week that was. We'll be back. We'll be back probably. We was gonna go live Saturday. It was worth going live, but the fight had us up to 1:00 in the damn morning watching the fight. Shout out to Bud Crawford, man. I appreciate everybody who shared my video, that shared the winning of it, man. That was definitely a pleasant surprise to wake up to on Sunday morning to see all the views and the shares that I got from that, man. So make sure that you also follow the show on all social media, man. On YouTube, on Facebook, Double Dose of Reality Sports, man. I'm on both. I'm on YouTube, Facebook. You already know Instagram. You can find me on my socials at I am DJ Double Dose, man. So without anything else, man, live, laugh, and love, man. Live your life to the fullest. Love on the people that love you back, and find something to laugh at each and every day. And I'm out.